Looking for a healing soup that will remind you of your favorite miso soup from the local Japanese sushi house? Then you'll love my green tea shiitake mushroom soup made with miso. To begin, I have these beautiful shiitake mushrooms. Shiitakes have a little bit more of a meatier flavor compared to regular mushrooms. And the trick with them is you have to remove the stems because these are woody and they don't have a good texture. You'll want to discard those. So to remove these tougher stems, you just rock the stem back and forth in the mushroom. And if this seems like too much of a challenge, you can just cut them out with a knife. So the great thing about shiitake mushrooms is they're actually a medicinal mushroom. What that means is that they have a lot of healing compounds beyond the regular button mushrooms that you'll find in the grocery store. So things like anti-tumor, antibacterial, antifungal, and I'm just slicing them. If this seems like a lot of work, you can actually buy shiitake mushrooms already cut up in the package, and those are totally fine to use as well. Another thing I love about mushrooms in general is that they're very rich in B vitamins. It's a great way to help lower your cholesterol, and B vitamins are important to heal your nervous system. In all of the recipes in the Healing Slow Cooker, you'll see plenty of superfoods like this amazing baby kale. Now, the reason I use baby kale versus regular kale is that the leaves are much more tender. But if you can't find the baby kale, don't sweat it. You can actually use the larger leaves of kale. Just make sure that you chop them up so that they cook easily in the slow cooker. Next, I have fresh cilantro. Cilantro just adds a lot of interest and a nice layer of flavor. Fresh herbs are full of antibacterial compounds, and they just make your food taste amazing. It gives it sort of a foodie or chef's twist. Next, I have balsamic vinegar, and this is a really smart swap when you would normally use something like soy sauce. And the reason I'm not using soy sauce in this recipe is because I'm keeping all these recipes gluten-free so that they're appropriate for a wide variety of diets. Also, because I have sodium in the broth, I want to cut the sodium back since a lot of soups can just be loaded with salt. Next, I have some sesame oil. This adds a lot of nice flavor. It's a traditional Asian ingredient. But if you're allergic to sesame or you don't happen to have it on hand, you can absolutely put some regular good old olive oil in there, extra virgin. Always makes it taste great, and it adds a little fat to this recipe to make it fulfilling. Next, I have green tea, and it might sound strange to cook with tea, but cooking with tea is a great way to get even more antioxidants into your diet. And there's a lot of studies around green tea for cardiovascular health, weight loss. It's rich in antioxidants. If you're worried about caffeine, green tea does have some caffeine, but you can always go for the decaffeinated version. Next, I'm going to mince up some garlic in this. Garlic is a really potent antibacterial. A lot of people used to believe it was good for lowering cholesterol, but now we know that's not true. It's actually good to help you control blood pressure. It's a great superfood for your heart. I'm just going to mince these garlic cloves up, but if you're not great with a knife, don't worry about it. You can go ahead and get the garlic that's already pre-minced in the container. For me, it doesn't taste as good. I prefer to add fresh. But both will flavor the soup just fine. And if it's a question of cooking or not cooking, absolutely buy the garlic. Another thing you can do, if the mincing is too tricky, you can just thinly slice it. And since this is a slow cooker recipe, the garlic will get really soft inside the slow cooker since it'll be in there for several hours. So one of my other ingredients that gives this soup a wonderful flavor is miso paste. And you may not realize, but this is how they make miso soup. And it's just a paste that's made from soybeans. It's loaded with flavor. It also has salt in it. So that's why I opted to use the balsamic instead of the soy sauce. But it just gives this soup a magnificent flavor. And don't worry about buying this whole canister because you can actually use it again. You can use it on fish. You can use it to marinate your chicken in. It is absolutely delicious. And you can find this in your local health food store. I've already placed 2 quarts of broth inside the slow cooker, and it's been simmering while I showed you the ingredients. So the next step is really just to pop all these great healing ingredients right inside. See how easy that is? I love just putting greens in. Look at all these wonderful fresh ingredients going into your meal. Our balsamic vinegar. I'm going to use olive oil, but you can use sesame oil. And then we're going to add that wonderful miso paste. Now, this is yellow miso that I'm using, which is lighter in color. If you get to the store and they don't have the yellow, any color, any flavor of miso will work wonderfully in this recipe. I just called for the yellow miso or the white miso because it's my favorite in terms of flavor. Then we're just going to tuck those green tea bags in on the side. And in the Healing Slow Cooker, I use a lot of medicinal foods. So the two medicinal foods that you see in this recipe are green tea and those healing shiitake mushrooms. Now, if you get to the grocery store and there aren't any shiitake mushrooms, you can absolutely use portobello, you can use cremini, white button. Shiitake are a little bit more potent. I consider them medicinal, while the other ones aren't medicinal, but the other ones are really excellent for your health as well. Pop the lid on, set our timer, and soup's ready to go. So now you don't have to rely on the canned versions of those high sodium soups. You can enjoy this soup from the Healing Slow Cooker that uses the power of medicinal foods like shiitake mushrooms.